Welcome to Poetry Out Loud.
Mike's not on.
Welcome to Poetry Out Loud's West Central Ohio Regional Final. Our event tonight is put on by the Pickle Arts Council. We'd like to thank our host tonight, Edison State Community College. This event is coordinated in partnership with Poetry Foundation, National Endowment for the Arts, and the Ohio Arts Council. I'm your MC, I'm Joe Shaken. Let's take a moment to familiarize ourselves with how tonight will play out. Each of our school champions will compete in 2 rounds. They will recite 1 poem in each round. They will be scored by our 3 judges for physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, and overall performance. A 4th judge will be scoring them on their accuracy. Each round will
we're sharing. Turn mine on. See? Yell at him and then don't turn mine on. Since we're sharing microphones tonight, we're going to go ahead and use microphone covers. We practiced with those the other night, and they don't really inhibit the way that things sound, so I feel very comfortable using those tonight. That way your student doesn't have to wear a mask, which definitely will affect their presentation. First off, thank you, Joe. Joe is not only a fabulous MC for this evening, he's also on my board of directors, so thank you for all the time and effort you put in for the Pickle Arts Council. I'd like to thank him in addition to the rest of our board members who are listed in the back of your program. First, I need to thank our sponsors before we get started. I want to start with Polysource. Polysource is a local manufacturer of polystyrene products. Founded in 1990, they manufacture EPS resin and specialty EPS copolymers. Their worldwide customer base typically consists of EPS molders that produce shape-molded products. For their U.S. customers, they also produce molded EPS parts for specialty applications such as color EPS and copolymer resin. Does that sound like a lot of mumbo-jumbo to you? Okay. Basically what they do, they produce styrofoam products like bicycle helmets. So if you have a cushioning styrofoam product, that's the kind of stuff that they make. It's really cool because it comes out in these little bitty pieces, and if you add a little bit of water to them and some heat, like put them in the microwave, they expand and they get huge. So at the end of the night, our contestants will each get a gift bag from us, right here in the front of the stage. They feature a bunch of different items from some of our sponsors: Scott's Family McDonald's, Elite, etc., Winans Chocolate and Coffee, J. Mary Bookstore, and Premier Health Upper Valley Medical Center, in addition to a few special things just from the Pickle Arts Council. Last year, one of our judges was Sierra Leone. Sierra is somebody that I admire greatly, and she is a Governor's Award-winning poet, and we actually were able to get a book of her poems for all of the students in the competition. So I hope you will read those when you are done. Tonight wouldn't be possible without our friends at the Poetry Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts, and the Ohio Arts Council, who selected the Pickle Arts Council to be a regional host. If the judges would make their way up, I have a special greeting from the Ohio Arts Council to share with you. Currently, their orders are they're not allowed to travel for work, so they are all stuck in Columbus. But Donna Collins, who is the executive director, and Chiquita Mullins-Lee, who is the arts learning coordinator and Poetry Out Loud coordinator, wish you all the best of luck tonight, and thank you for participating. They hope to see one of you in Columbus as the state finalist. Leroy. Step on. Leroy Bean is the author, poet, and co-founder of Underdog Academy and teaches the art of storytelling to businesses who want to authentically connect with their clients and employees and individuals who want to use their voice and share their story. Bridget has coached business leaders, politicians, keynote speakers, students, and individuals from all walks of life to craft a better story. She also provides one-on-one life coaching for people who are stuck with big problems or big ideas to get unstuck and begin actively writing new chapters of their lives. We are definitely hiring her because I'm terrible at this. Stephen Gregory is a musician from Dayton, Ohio. The accuracy score from this single judge is added to all three of the other judges' scores. This year, I want to thank Nate Funderberg for being our accuracy judge. Nate wouldn't provide me with a bio, so you get what came off of his website for his business. Nate is a lifelong resident of Piqua, Ohio. After graduating Piqua High School, Nate graduated cum laude from Wright State University with a degree in English. He attended law school at the University of Dayton School of Law and graduated magna cum laude in 2006 after serving on the law review. Nate was admitted to the Ohio Bar in November of 2006 and the bar of the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Ohio in December of the same year. Nate spent 2 years working for a local law firm before joining McCullough, Felger, Fight and Gutman in October of 2008. Where he is still employed and a partner now, right? He's trying to kick the other guys out, but that hasn't happened yet. If two of my judges want to head back to the table. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It's my pleasure to work with these students as part of our student workshop and coaching them on presentation tonight. I hope I didn't do a terrible job because when they came, they were outstanding. I know you're going to enjoy what they bring to the stage tonight, regardless of how much I impacted it in a negative direction. But before we get started with the students, let's kick things off with our poetry judge, Leroy Bean.
In order for me to do well, I'm gonna give you energy, you give me energy back. So when I ask how y'all doing,
we're good. That should be your break, man.
That was great. I appreciate it. So yes, feel free to snap your fingers, stomp your feet, yell, whatever you feel when it comes to this performance. Like I said, that energy helps me know that I'm doing well. So if I suck, it's y'all fault. Cool. Cool. Probably have to understand. poetry be like, here are my demons. Prior to clapping, the crowd lets out a so deep it turns their stomach to sinkhole. Yet calm and professionally, I present them. While my stomach is literally upside down, or perhaps gravity ceased to apply for a moment in there. Either way, why haven't I digested these butterflies yet? And echoes of, well, why are you nervous? Bounce off the walls of mouths who were under the impression that I was beyond anxiety, but I ain't. And truthfully, I'm nervous because this is an execution of self. This is exorcism. Spill demons on stage, written with precision to get surgical as I cut deep and bleed as your sacrificial lamb. It's never just a performance. It's more like a Monsters, Inc. scare simulation. As I manifest a magical door out of my metaphors, a gateway to my closet where paranormal of past and present feed on my screams night. To you, it's just a cool scar that all the kids gather around to commend me on my bravery of surviving. To me, still a very fresh wound, yet I pour alcohol on it in front of you to prove that I'm healing, to let you know that it's painful, but this is the process, or else letting a wound sit and fester can lead to a fatal infection. I'm nervous because I'm about to step up here, you get completely naked. While you paint your own perspective behind a private canvas as you sip your wine with a facial expression that's left open to interpretation. Nervous because this is me, making a mirror out of you. As I step outside of my body to speak the lessons that I need. And I'm not too sure what the truth will look like unleashed. Thank you.
Wonderful job. Well, last year I jokingly said that all the contestants that night could say that Sierra Leone had opened for them. And tonight's contestants can say that Leroy opened for them. All right, the order for tonight was determined using a random number generator. And kicking off tonight's competition will be Daniel Nassif. I didn't say it right, I didn't remember that, but he's from Chaminade, Julienne Catholic High School. Come on up.
Abandoned Farmhouse by Ted Kuzer. He was a big man, says the size of his shoes on a pile of broken dishes by the house. A tall man too, says the length of the bed in an upstairs room. And a good, God-fearing man, says the Bible with the broken back on the floor below the window, dusty with sun. But not a man for farming, say the fields cluttered with boulders and the leaky barn. A woman lived with him, says the bedroom wall papered with lilacs and the kitchen shelves covered with oilcloth. And they had a child, says the sandbox made from a tractor tire. Money was scarce, say the jars of plum preserves and canned tomatoes sealed in the cellar hole. And the winters cold, say the rags and in the window frames. Something went wrong, says the empty house in the weed-choked yard. Stones in the field say he was not a farmer. The still-sealed jars in the cellar say she left in a nervous haste, and the child. Its toys are strewn in the yard, like branches after a storm. A rubber cow, a rusty tractor with a broken plow, a doll in overalls. Something went wrong, they say.
Great job, Daniel. Can you hang out with me for a second while the judges determine whether or not you win this or not?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Say your last name for me.
Nasif.
Nasif.
Yeah, you can say it however you want to say it.
You'll still come up.
Yeah, you're close enough. Close enough.
Daniel, what grade are you in?
I am a senior.
Into the microphone name.
I am a senior.
Senior.
Yes.
All right. Do you participate in any extra school activities?
Yes.
What all do you do?
Play basketball.
No kidding.
Yeah. I don't love it.
All right, Daniel. Thank you. You did a great job. All right. Next up from Xenia High School, Piqua. Lexi. He adjusted it down, but I don't think he might have to adjust it. Thank you.
I am offering this poem by Jimmy Santiago Baca. I am offering this poem to you since I have nothing else to give. Keep it like a warm coat when winter comes to cover you, or like a pair of thick socks the cold cannot bite you. I love you. I have nothing else to give you. So it is a pot full of yellow corn to warm your belly in winter. It is a scarf for your head to wear over your hair, to tie around your face. I love you. Keep it. Treasure this as you would if you were lost, needing direction. In the wilderness, life becomes when mature. And in the corner of your drawer, tucked away like a cabin, where Hogan and dense trees come knocking, and I will answer. Give you directions and let you warm yourself by this fire. Rest by this fire, and make you feel safe. I love you. It's all I have to give, and all anyone needs to live. And to go on living inside, when the world outside no longer cares if you live or die. Remember, I love you.
Very good job. You mind hanging out for a second? Play basketball?
No.
All right. Do you participate in any extra activities in school?
I'm in ensemble.
I'm sorry?
Ensemble?
Ensemble. Okay. What grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore. You had to think about that.
Yeah.
Seniors don't have to think about that. You did a great job.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Let's see you in a minute. Well, everybody's doing a great job. Next up, we're going to keep this going and have Lexi Costello. Lexi's from Pickle High School, and I'm sure I destroyed your name also.
Yeah, a little bit.
A January Dandelion by George Marion McClellan. All Nashville is a chill, and everywhere, like desert sand when the winds blow, there is, each moment, sifted through the air, a powdered blast of January snow. Oh, thoughtless dandelion, to be misled by a few warm days, to leave thy natural bed, was folly growth and blooming over soon. And yet, thou blasted, yellow-coated gem, full many a heart has but a common boon with thee, now freezing on thy slender stem. When the heart has bloomed by the touch of love's warm breath, then left and chilling snow is sifted in. It still may beat, but there is blast and death to all that blooming life that might have been.
Great job, Lexi.
Thank you.
All right, what grade are you in, Lexi?
I'm a senior this year.
Senior, so you can handle that. Sorry. Do you participate in any other school activities?
Do we have a couple hours?
Well, let's hear them. Let's start, and if we get a light, we'll get you off stage.
Everything at Pickle High School. I'm in the company, which is the show choir, National Honor Society, Student Council, Link Leaders, Interact Club, which is the high school version of the Rotary.
Let's pick up.
Yeah. Just about everything. I'm in the musical, and I used to play tennis as well.
Nice. Very, very active. Good. All right. Well, thank you. All right. Next up, from Springfield Clark Career and Technical College is Abby Lay.
Be of Use by Marge Piercy. The people I love the best jump into work headfirst, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element. The black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row, to pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud, botched. It smears the hands, crumbles to dust, but the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, holy vases that held porn, are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry in a person, for work that is real.
Great job. Really good. All right. It's the theme of the night. What do you do extracurricular at school?
I'm an FFA, and then I do student center.
FFA and student center. All right, good. All right, we'll have you up here in just a minute again for your next round.
Woo!
Good job. Everybody's doing such a great job. All right, so we're going to welcome to the stage our professional storyteller, Bridget, if you don't mind coming up. All right, Bridget, what extracurricular activities do you do in school? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, this story takes place about 10 years ago. I have two kids. They are 8 years apart. My daughter is 8 years older than my son. So at this point in our lives, my son was in kindergarten and my daughter was in middle school. And as you can imagine, getting out of the house in the morning was quite hectic because the kindergartner still needed a lot of help getting ready and the teenager didn't want to get out of bed. So this morning, like most, was very hectic. We're getting out the door, we're rushing. And as we're getting into the car, my daughter notices that my son is carrying a very large blue binder. Now this binder happened to contain a very large collection, carefully crafted collection of Pokemon cards that my daughter had collected over years. But she had decided that she was in middle school and she was too old for Pokemon cards, so she had given the entire collection to her kindergartner brother. And he was taking the collection to school. As we're pulling out of the driveway and getting onto the street, my daughter very forcefully but quietly says to me, "He can't take those to school." And I said to her, "Sure he can." And she goes, "No, Mom, you don't understand. He's going to trade away all the good ones." And he pipes up from the back seat, "No, I won't." And she turns around and yells back at him, "Shut up." So I look at her and say, "Don't talk to your brother like that." And she is getting irritated and upset. "Mom, you don't understand. He doesn't understand the value of the cards, and he's going to trade away all the good ones." And so as calmly as I can, I explain to her that she has given the collection to her brother, that they are now his. And that if he wants to trade away the good ones, he can do that, because they're his now. And as I'm talking, she's just getting more and more angry, and we are getting closer and closer to the school. And so then she's so angry that she yells those two words that no parent ever wants to hear from their children. "You." Well, I responded with a very firm foot on the brake pedal, the entire car screeching to a halt. And I turned to her and said, "Get out." "But Mom, get out of the car." So she gathered up her book bag, quickly got out of the car. She's furious, so she slams the door so hard that the entire car shook. I continue driving towards the kindergarten, and I hear a little voice in the back seat pipe up, "I love you, Mom." And to this day, I swear that every parent of a teenager should keep around the little one who still loves them. When we got to the kindergarten, the little guy didn't quite understand what the whole thing had been about. But one thing he did understand was that his beloved sister did not want him to take the Pokemon cards to school. So he decided to leave the binder in the car. And I stewed all day about what discipline was going to happen for what I considered verbal violence. And she obviously thought about it all day as well, because when I got home from work, her head was down and she said, "I'm sorry, Mom." And I said to her, "I'm sure you are, honey. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to write 2 papers. Each of them are going to be 3 pages, typed, double-spaced, normal margins of A quality with references. One of them is going to be titled, "Why My Mom is Awesome," and the other one is going to be titled, "Why I Love My Brother." And both of them are going to be completed by Sunday, or else you are going to be grounded from everything that requires electricity. She wrote the papers, and when I read them, I got tears in my eyes. Because she got it. Her mother and her brother are far more important than Pokemon cards ever could be. Listening to this story, it's easy to see that Pokemon cards are really not worth getting that upset about. But the truth is, we do this all the time. We get angry about a dent in the car instead of being grateful that our loved one is okay. We rail about socks on the floor or toothpaste in the sink. We argue about who texted who last and who said what about whom and which political statement we agree with. We fight over our opinions, making our facts more important than our friends. When I find myself upset about little things, I try to breathe and then sit myself in the back seat with a little one who just loves. And when I do that, I find it's really easy to just leave the Pokemon cards in the car. Thank you.
Wow.
Outstanding. All right, well, that concludes the first half. We're going to take a brief 10-minute break, and the restrooms are out in the hall, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Welcome back. The scores from the first round have been tabulated and will be added to the scores from this round, and the winner being the student with the highest combined score. They will go to the state final competition in March. Before we jump back into the students portion, let's hear from our last judge, Stephen Gregory.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So I usually don't say much about songwriting or processes or anything before I play because I just work here, you know. So, but it's really interesting to see this tonight, and what's really cool for me is, you know, I got my start playing in coffee shops following poets and things like that. So I'm going to try to get through like 3 songs kind of quickly because I don't want to take up too much time, but kind of what I'm going to talk about before each one. So the sax player and I, Cody, we're in the studio right now doing an album. So when I was coming here tonight, you know, I play electric more often than I play acoustic, and I was going to bring all my bells and whistles and all those things, but I started thinking about something that another artist I really like was talking about, and he was talking about economy in your songwriting and your process. So when I write songs, I usually just try to, my mindset is, what is it I'm trying to say? Like, what am I doing, or what do I want people to feel with the music and the lyrics? And it's a very vulnerable space. Those of you that have been up here performing, you know it's a vulnerable space to be up here. So the first one I'm going to play is a song of mine called Run. that I could run fast enough to make you stand still, fast enough to chase your airplane. Oh, I wish that I could fly well enough to crash on down 1,000 feet below the ground and find a safe place to hide. If I could, I would undo all of this, and you believe in me again. Oh, I wish that I could swim. Maybe you can teach me how, so I wouldn't be so afraid to cross the ocean to you. But all I can do is run. All I can do is run. The bio says that I did an 11-day tour in England. It makes it sound so military when I say it that way. I wrote that song in England, actually. So this one, again, a lot of times when I'm writing songs and I'm playing, there's, even when we're doing long shows, and Cody and I usually do 3-4 hour shows, we try to take the crowd up and bring them down, and take them up and bring them back down. So this is one of my faster songs that I really enjoy playing. This is called Higher. Moving slow as the day gets old, Lord, I'm tired of being tired. Grooving at this pace just seems such a waste, when I could be getting higher, and I'm closer, maybe slower, but that's alright. I said I'm higher, and I'm closer, maybe slower, maybe that's alright. Walking down the same old Vine Street as my home, when I pass the same old man who says he doesn't like my shoes or my face or my place in his world. But I'm higher and I'm closer, maybe slower, but that's alright. I said I'm higher and I'm closer, maybe slower, maybe that's alright. Also, when we do shows, I have a kind of mental process when I write set lists, songs I really want to get out, things that are new. You can follow Cody and I on Facebook under Stephen Gregory. We actually just had one of our original songs hit 25,000 views, so that's been very, very cool. So that's and I'm not going to play it, so you just have to go listen to it. So one thing I do toward the end of our shows is I always play the very, very first song that I learned to play on guitar and sing at the same time. So I'm going to end with that one. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about Elvis, loves horses and a boyfriend too, yeah. It's a long day, living in Reseda. There's a freeway running through the yard, and I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy, breaking her heart, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and all the vampires are walking through the valley. They move west down Ventura Boulevard. All the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and the good girls, they're home with broken hearts, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, free falling now, 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 free falling. I wanna climb down over Harlem. I wanna ride her name in the skies. I wanna free fall out into nothing. Oh, I'm gonna leave this world for a while, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and I'm free. Free falling, falling, and I'm free. Free falling.
Stephen Gregory, very good. Thank you. All right, this starts round 2. In the second round, all the performers go in the same order, so we're going to welcome Daniel Nassif back to the stage and
Football by Lewis Jenkins. I take the snap from the center, fake to the right, fake back. I've got protection. I've got a receiver open downfield. What the hell is this? This isn't football. It's a shoe. A man's brown leather Oxford. A cousin to a football, maybe. The same skin, but not the same. A thing made for the earth, not the air. I realize that this is a world where anything is possible, and I understand also that one often has to make do with what one has. I've eaten pancakes, for instance, with that clear corn syrup on them because there was no maple syrup, and they weren't very good. Well, anyway, this is different. My man downfield is waving his arms. One has certain responsibilities. One has to make choices. This isn't right, and I am not going to throw it.
Good job again, Daniel. Basketball, no kidding.
Yeah,
All right.
surprising.
All right, to give you a reference, I'm 6 foot. Anyway. Anyone?
Close.
All right. What are you?
6'7".
6'7", good morning. All right. So, you're a senior. What's next?
Next question.
Do you have plans for college? Or?
Yeah, it's been hard because I can't really visit anywhere in the middle of basketball season also, so
Yeah, understood. All
I don't
right.
have much time. So definitely spring break, I'll probably go around.
All right, good. All right, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, sticking in the same order, you go to Lucy from Xenia High School.
The Ocean by Nathaniel Hawthorne. The ocean has its silent waves, deep, quiet, and alone. Though there be fury on the waves, beneath them there is none. The awful spirits of the deep hold their communion there. And there are those for whom we weep, the young, the bright, the fair. Calmly, the wearied seamen rest beneath their own blue sea. The ocean solitudes are blessed, for there is purity. The earth has guilt. The earth has care. Unquiet are its graves. But peaceful sleep is ever there beneath the dark blue waves. Great job again. All right,
So tell us, you're the youngest in this competition. How's it feel like going up against a bunch of seniors?
Pretty nerve-wracking. Pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah. We did a great job, really. All right. All right, our second to last competitor is Lexi Costello. Did I say it right this time? Close enough. All right. From Pickle.
Fate by Carolyn Wells. Two shall be born the whole world wide apart, and speak in different tongues, and pay their debts in different kinds of coin, and give no heed each to the other's being, and know not that each might suit the other to a T, if they were but correctly introduced. And these unconsciously shall bend their steps, escaping Spaniards and defying war, unerringly toward the same trysting place, albeit they know it not, until at last they enter the same door, and suddenly they meet, and ere they've seen each other's face, they fall into each other's arms upon the Broadway cable car, and this is fate.
Very good. So, George prepared a lot of these questions for me to ask people, but this is exactly what I would have asked you, and I'm going to ask it. Your road to this competition went through last year's regional champion, Missouri Folk. How does it feel to be here knowing that you made it, going through something with that kind of experience?
So Zuri is a classmate that I've known for years, and he's a great competitor, and we talked about that if either of us were to lose to the other, that's who we would want to lose to. So I'm grateful to be here tonight, and Zuri told me to do it for him. So
very good. All right. We're going to end on that. I won't go.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lexi. And up next is Abby Lake, again from Springfield Career Technical College.
I'm Trying to Break Your Heart by Kevin Young. I am hoping to hang your head on my wall in shame. The slightest taxidermy thrills me. Fish forever leaping on the living room wall, paperweights made from skulls of small animals. I want to wear your smile on my sleeve and break your heart like a horse or its leg. Weeks of being bucked off, then all at once you're mine. Put me down. I want to call you thine. To tattoo mercy along my knuckles. I assassin down the avenue. I hope to have you forgotten by noon. To know you by your knees, palsied by prayer. Loneliness is a science. Consider the taxidermist's tender hands, trying to keep from losing skin. The bobcat's grin of the living.
just like last time. Good job, Abby. So, I want to ask you, and really this is for all of you, where does the, I don't know if this microphone's making that thing pop. Where do you find the passion and the emotion to tell these stories?
Probably just through life experiences.
Very good. All right. Well, that is the conclusion of round 2. We're going to take another 10-minute break while the judges gather their numbers, and we'll be back. We are going to welcome Jordan Epper back to the stage, the director of the Pickle Arts Council.
Thank you, Joe. Can we hear it again for Joe? It was really important that before I came back up, I made him say one more thing. So I had to write that one-line comment. Oh, here, welcome back, Jordan Epper, instead of just coming up and doing this myself. But we are a little ahead of schedule, so I will give you the option right now. I have something that I could read, or we could just get down to the end, and I'm more than happy either way. So if you would like me to read something, let me know.
Read.
Unlike the students, I don't have to have mine memorized, and there'll be no judging from the peanut gallery in the back. Time passes slower when your heart is bleeding. The echoes of the second hand slowly ticking away. A hammer striking the anvil, recalling the pain. Frantically, the mind searches for truth, a fragment of something to use to stem the flow, futile, like trying to bottle the wind. Tears might help, but the situation doesn't warrant them. For who cries over something they never had? The hope, optimism, drained from a weary soul. There's trouble with being a dreamer, seeing beautiful futures and outcomes that delight, one soul igniting another. Sometimes the fire isn't enough. Sometimes it's too much. It burns bright, but consumes too quickly, scared of what it might become. So often we douse it. Extinguished before it truly blossomed, now cold, the warmth lost. And in the aftermath, nothing but smoke and cinders remain. I really want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to the students to see so many people here in their cheering section. I know most of you are probably related to them or a teacher, but it really does mean a lot to have people here in the audience cheering you on through this. So I know Joe was very happy that his son AJ was here and he could cheer him on. He did more heckling than cheering, but I do that to my father as well. I need to take one more time, I need to thank our sponsors. Our gift bag sponsors, Winans, Chocolate and Coffee, Scott's Family McDonald's, J and Mary's Bookstore, Elite, etc., and Premier Health Upper Valley Medical Center. And our event sponsor, Polysource Incorporated. I want to thank our volunteers tonight, Dan Epper and Jay Tidwell. I want to thank Indian Nation Station and specifically AJ Ganger for live streaming tonight's competition, along with Tommy, his assistant for the night. Thank you, Tommy. David Davidson provides some great photos after the event that we'll share with the teachers and the students. Thank you, David. A huge thank you to our judges for being here tonight. They are outstanding performers. Can we have another round of applause? If I could have them come up to the stage, I have a little gift for each one of them. That needs you too. They would come out of order. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Nate, could you hand them a bag? Leroy. Steve. And Nate already has his bag. I didn't leave him out. Stick around up here for a second, and then we can all congratulate the kids together, unless you really don't want to. I thought he might make a late break. So. A special thank you tonight goes to our MC, Joe Schaefer. Thank you so much, Joe. I have all the students come up. I said in these bags are a lot of different things, wine and chocolates and coffee, donated some chocolate-covered Oreos and chocolate-covered pretzels and all kinds of different things for them. In addition, Sierra Leone, one of last year's judges, there's a book of her poems in there. There's an anthology of poems in there as well. A journal for the students so that they can get some of those thoughts out and hopefully create something beautiful to share with us later. We gave them all personalized Pickle Arts Council cups as well. So if the students each would take a bag from the front here, they should be the same. Scott's Family McDonald's donated $20 in gift cards for them that are good at any McDonald's. So I hope you like McDonald's. I'm sure you know somebody that does. And the winner of our 2021 Poetry Out Loud West Central Ohio Regional Champion is Lexi Castelli from Piqua High School. Thank you all for coming tonight. Please drive home safely. I do have a sheet that I need everybody to sign before they leave, so if you'll stick around just for a minute and sign the sheet, it should be on Steven's table over there. That way the kids can also get their photos taken with the judges. Thank you.